I give so much credit to Aaron, the things that he's put himself through to be able to get back to, where he's at right now. I think we saw a little bit of it yesterday. And he looks like he always has. I mean, he is a little bit older, so he's lost a little bit of that speed he used to have. But just being able to work in that little area, be able to get to some scramble drills, run on a couple man coverages, things like that. I thought he did a really good job, and it's great to see him progress so much to the training staff and everybody to help get him to where he is now.
Hey, Nate, can you speak to, and you probably have done this earlier in camp, and this is my first time with you, just can you speak to the challenge of last year when Aaron went down? You formulate so many plans in the offseason, and all of a sudden in 4 plays it's gone, and you got to reboot, and there's such a rotation of quarterbacks. How difficult was that on you personally to try to get what you wanted to try to get going?
Yeah, I think everything's a learning experience. And as coaches, we're always continually learning. For us, change is the norm. You're always going to have things, people going in and out. It wasn't just the quarterbacks. It was quite a lot of people last year. And that's what we sign up for. We try to do everything we can to try to put the guys in great positions. And everybody does things differently. And you want to give them the best opportunity to perform. And that's what we try to do day in and day out. And we learned a lot from last year, and we're going to utilize that this year.
I mean, you and Aaron were so linked from the beginning, you coming in here. How difficult was it on you personally to not have him around on the field? Obviously, he was around when he could be.
Yeah, I think anytime you lose a player of that magnitude, it's hard on everybody, not just me, but from an entire organization. And but in the end, we have to keep moving forward, and we try to do our best to continue to move forward. And we have to be ready if anything happens to be ready to rock and roll.
Nate, with the connection that Aaron and Garrett have shown, it seems like they just kind of picked up where they left off from a year ago. How encouraging is that, just to see these guys like reconnect and connect well at this point?
It is. It's great to see. Garrett's a very unique, dynamic receiver, and Aaron's an elite quarterback. So to have those two guys get on the same page, whether it's a check, an audible, different things that we coach and want to have happen, because if Aaron sees something advantageous to be able to take advantage of Garrett's skill set, we want to be able to do that. And I think just seeing those things naturally happen is great. And Coach Saleh has done a great job this year, giving us even more practice reps than what we've had in the past. So that's able to come along even better. So it's good to see, and it just has to continue to get better. It's not there yet, but we've got we're definitely going in the right direction.
Hey, what is it about Aaron and you that clicked so well? I mean, what is it about him that, obviously, aside from being one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, but you just almost personally, because you guys seem to have a bit of a simpatico. I'm curious what it is about it.
I think that there's just people in this profession that you're drawn to, and I think that we've been very lucky because we have a lot of the same likes, a lot of things that we start from a foundation of an offense that we both grew up in. For him being with Coach Mike McCarthy, who was with my father, and so we have this old background of offense. And then off the field, I just think the world of him. I think he's one of the best people I've ever met. And so I mean, it's you combine all that stuff, and it just brings us together. Our sense of humor is the same, all that stuff. So we're very lucky to have that, and it's something that I'll cherish the rest of my life.
What are some of the things off the field that are in common? Do you like pyramids and stuff, or no? I mean, whatever.
I do. I very much. We both travel a lot. He travels. My family and I travel quite a bit. I mean, just all the things from the books, the conversations we have, all those things are in depth and that I love.
Can you speak to how far the offensive line has come over the past calendar year, going back to joint practices with Carolina last year?
Yeah, we go back and we look at some of that stuff when we're trying to get ready for this ball game coming up, and it's amazing to see the different faces, the different people. So first and foremost, I give so much credit to Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh. We've had a lot of changes up there, just from the people that we brought in, and they've been amazing additions. And it starts with just the people that they are, and the way that they practice, the way they push themselves, the way they work together. So I think that's one of the best things you see. And then anytime you're in a second year, everybody understands Coach Carter. They understand me. They understand what we're looking for. We can talk about the nuances, the details, and you see that in a lot of the run game. And we've had some different people playing at different spots, and we haven't skipped a beat. Like, the guys just do such a great job working together, and they enjoy playing together. And I think that's what you're always looking for with that group up front, those five.
What's it been like in training camp having Robert a little bit more involved in the offense than last year, and how does that help the operation? In what ways?
Oh, I think it's been absolutely fantastic. I mean, anytime you can have a defensive perspective in the room with you, it opens your eyes to some things that, when you watch things on tape or you look and see how they react, sometimes you think you got a great play, but maybe the defense busted, or maybe there's something just a little tiny detail that we can do to make a play even more open. And I think that's what Saleh's brought to us, is taking what we have in our foundation and then just making it a little bit better. So I think just having him around is great. Anytime the head coach is involved in your meetings or with the offense, it shows a presence of caring and loving for that group. And I think the guys have felt that. The guys appreciate that. I appreciate that. It's been really great to have him around.
What have you seen from Irv Charles in terms of development as a receiver?
Oh, he's getting better every day. It's so great for him. He came in as a rookie, and then going into his second year, the whole system changed. So to learn two systems is always difficult. You look at all those wide receivers that were in there, the young guys, and to go back-to-back years with the same system makes it so that you can go out there and play. And I think that for Irv, he's been able to get out there, line up, and run his route, and not think about, where do I have to line up? What is this concept? What am I trying to do? He already knows it. He's had 2 full years, 2 full off seasons in that. So obviously we know what kind of special teams player he is. We understand his physicality, and now he has the ability to start expanding as a wide receiver, which, we saw some of it yesterday. He did some great things, and, he's continually developing.
Hey, Nate, obviously the job you're in, criticism is part of what every coach deals with. I'm kind of curious, as somebody who covered one of 2 people on this call that covered your dad back in the day, and watched how he handled it. It seemed to roll off his back pretty well. I'm wondering what you have learned from him, or what he's imparted to you when you've gone through tough times and been criticized. Obviously Denver and here a bit last year.
That's part of the job. And I think growing up in this profession with him as my father, seeing the things that he went through, how he responded to it, how he looked at it, understanding truth versus, sometimes that's not what gets out there. And I think that's what you have to focus on as a coach. And that's what he's always taught me. He knows the truth. He knows what has happened out there. So do I. And that's what you hold yourself accountable to, those things. And he's always been so amazing for me, just throughout my entire career, and just to be able to bounce off ideas and go through anything that you're going through as a coach, because there are tons of things that you have to deal with, and he's probably one of the best ever to just let it roll off his back, like you said. And so I try to do the same as he does.
Thanks.
Take a couple more for Coach. A couple more.
Yeah, I'm that other old guy, by the way. So just more. I want to ask you about Olu, Nate, because very obviously you moved him to right tackle. And how do you balance, because he was making progress at left tackle, so how do you balance not wanting to impede that progress by giving him a totally new position now? Doesn't that risk throwing off his growth a little bit?
I think there's still a lot of the same techniques. Wherever you are on the line, there's still certain things that we all practice and we all work together. Combinations, just some are going left, some are going right. Just depends where you are within the play call. And so I think that it is different for him. And I think it's something that we want to experiment with, because we always want to try to get, whoever is the best 5 out there. And we want to give him that opportunity. And I think it's something that he's been really excited about. And it definitely was different a little bit yesterday, but he jumped right at that opportunity. So I think just to get any more reps you can get, no matter where you are, against the speed, especially against a defense like we face every day, is so valuable. And I don't think it's going to stunt his growth by any means. I think it'll just make him better and more versatile. And that's what you're looking for.
Obviously, Aaron's had a great camp, but when you speak about the offensive line and you see what some of these young backs have done so far this summer, and you got Breece Hall back there leading the way, what's the potential for this rush offense?
I think one of the cool things that we have going for us right now is we don't have running backs that are very specific in one thing. We don't have a guy that you have to put in for a pass play, a guy that you have to put in for protection, a guy that you have to put in to run outside zone or downhill. I think the cool thing about that room, and Coach Dews has done such a great job with all those young guys and really getting them to come along, is that when they go out, we don't skip a beat, and we can still do our entire offense. We can put them in on third down. We can put them in a pass play. And in the end, it's not a bad thing to check that thing down to those guys with space. As we saw, they're dynamic with the ball in their hands. They're going to run by you. They're going to run you over. They're going to do a lot of different things. So it's a very versatile room, and that's what I love about it right now.
Nate, with the tight end room, you have a bunch of guys in there now. It's pretty crowded. You brought in Ferkser and Neil Johnson. Obviously, with Conklin and Ruckert, those guys are there, and Yeboah too. What are you looking for in that back end, like some of these guys that you have in that room?
Again, it's kind of like the running back room. I think that when you have a versatile group that can do a lot of different things, you don't get pigeonholed in certain things that you can and can't do. So I think those guys, Ron Middleton's done a great job with them also, to be able to give them an opportunity to be able to pass protect, to be able to run routes, to be able to lead block, to be able to do all kinds of different things. And that's what we're searching for, who can be versatile and who can do different aspects of the offense, not just one specific thing. And those guys are like I said, they're doing a fine job, and they're just getting better every day.
Any more questions for Coach?
One last one.
The
two young quarterbacks, what have you seen from them and battling for that number 3 spot, Martinez and Peasley?
Oh, it's a great competition. I think we saw, both guys go out there this past weekend and really play at a high level. And from that position, what you're looking for is one, just their demeanor on the sideline, how they operate when things go good, when things go bad. You want to be able to get a feel for them. And I'll tell you, it was an absolute pleasure to call plays for those guys, because they could go out there, they can call the play in the huddle, execute it, get people doing the right stuff. And then when they had their opportunities, they delivered or made plays happen. So I think both of those guys, I love how they are out on the field. I love how they look at the guys in the eye when they're talking to them, and they're humble, but excited and fired up, and know they can make a lot of different throws. I mean, the 2-minute execution that Peasley had was awesome. Adrian making plays at the end there. I mean, the touchdown that Peasley threw, I mean, they both are going back and forth, and they support each other. And I love watching them execute at a high level, and just the operation went really well. I was really pleased with that.